Just Bet Goal Rush. Watch all the games on the biggest screens in the Caribbean.
Them a silly billy. Me carry real bad team, not a illy billy. Now one wagon to the thing, now one a switchy. Represent for your team to the nitty-gritty. School.
I don't understand football and I don't enjoy watching it. But seeing handsome man cry because of football is where I draw the line. Was it really necessary to make Neymar cry? Huh? Can't they just give him what he wants? I'm so sad. Can they just make a lot of trophies and give one to every team that has handsome man in it? It is that simple, FIFA. We cannot watch another handsome man cry because of that. Think. You're breaking a lot of hearts, by the way. You need to do better than this, FIFA. And that man, Holland or Holland, whatever his name is, you need to lock him up. Yes, lock him up until the competition ends. He's destroying everyone. He's so huge, and he's the one who made handsome Neymar cry. Now he's my enemy. Don't make me step in, FIFA.
All right, the full-time whistle has gone, and we are now into Extra Time. It's Fan Central Extra Time right here on CVM TV. And of course, we are powered by Pepsi, Digicel, and our official food sponsors, Mothers. I'm your host, Jordan Fort, and I'm going to be introducing you to my panel in a short while. Of course, we saw drama again today at the greatest show on earth, and we are going to give you all of the discussions about the drama that we saw a little later on in the show. But to introduce the panelists, Jermaine Thomas is to my right. He is the assistant under-20 coach for the national team and also the head coach of Malines United and McGrath High School. On Zoom, we will have Tyrone Marshall. Tyrone, of course, known as a stalwart defender back in his day when he played for the Reggae Boys between 2000 and 2010, and is now the coach at Cincinnati FC Cincinnati 2 in the United States. And guess what? Kimani O'Sullivan will be in here a little later on with Fan Corner, and he'll be giving us his fame or shame picks. Remember, he always shames Rashida Murphy for her fame or shame picks. So let's see what Kimani O'Sullivan will come up with in fame or shame a little later on. All right, so the GOAT. He was on the loose again today. Lionel Messi bringing Argentina back from the dead. And they completed a 3-2 comeback win over Egypt in a thrilling round of 16 match at the FIFA World Cup. Messi missed a penalty, but his inspirational play brought Argentina back into the game. The other two goal scorers were Enzo Fernandez, who scored the eventual winner for the Argentines, after Christian Romero had also gotten on the score sheet. Of course, those goals on the other side of a Messi goal, which pulled Argentina level. But it seemed like the world champions were headed out at one stage. Mustafa Zico scored in minute 67 to make it 2-0 for Egypt, adding to Yasser Ibrahim's strike in minute 15. And at that point, the Pharaohs thought they were going through to the round of 8. Well, it wasn't to be, and some people are blaming the referee, and that's why we'll have former FIFA referee Victor Stewart joining us in the show as well to break down some contentious moments in that particular match. Coach Jermaine Thomas, Argentina through, but the match not without controversy.
It was one of them games you were watching and wondering if this is a World Cup. A lot would have been said about the competition's director being biased towards a certain player. And there are instances today when you're watching and you're thinking that you're wondering if that's true or if it's just people saying things. But nonetheless, Egypt, I thought, played well in parts, and from most of the game they were consistent, and they adopted a low block shape for most of the games, and they tried to lure the Argentines forward inside a high back line, and they wanted to catch them on the counter. They were successful a couple of times. They had some near ones after that, but Argentina, to me, with Lionel Messi, will always be dangerous. Yeah. And you saw what happened, and you saw what he did.
Do you think it was a foul on Salah in the build-up to Argentina's winning goal? Because that's one of the points of contention here.
Close call, contact was made. And if you're going to have VAR to set up, to let's say, limit mistakes, human mistakes, fine on the pitch, referee mistakes, and you are going to determine when you use versus when you do not use. And you are sending the referee over to the screen for similar things. And then today it happened, you sent him over for the goal against Argentina. I think that was the second goal.
Yeah, so Egypt were leading 1-0.
Right.
They scored that goal on the counter-attack. VAR intervened and brought it all the way back to the start of the play,
right,
so to speak, and said there was a foul on Lisandro Martinez in the build-up to Egypt scoring that goal. Now, again, that was the first point of contention, so they wiped off that goal. But Egypt scored, in about 5 minutes later, right?
Right.
So they still made it 2-0. And then the one I'm talking about was when Argentina eventually scored the winner to make it 3-2 right at the end of normal time. So I get what you're saying, because they brought it back to look at the foul on Lisandro.
And they did not.
And it doesn't seem, VAR checks everything in the background, doesn't it?
Fine, no problem.
So I'm assuming VAR must have checked the contact on
But the
Salah.
one they brought back for, I think it was the would have been 2-0.
Yeah, would have been 2-0, yes.
Contact was made. The player stepped on the player's toe. Fine. The third, there was another one where I think it was Salah dribbling, and contact was made on him as well, which was pretty much similar. And you never brought back that. To say to the referee, go over on the screen and look, you determine. That was not done. So I'm saying, make the playing field level then. If you're going to do it for one, do it for the other team.
I hear that, and I don't disagree with you, but in discussing this, and of course there are many discussions have come up off-air, coach, heated discussions, and my whole point was the fact that Egypt, I still think, have themselves to blame, notwithstanding that particular contentious call, because a few minutes later, after that goal was wiped away, they still went up 2-0, right? And that was in the 67th minute. It means then it was a little over 20 minutes left to play to keep Argentina out
of the game.
And that is what they failed to do. Similar to what we saw, obviously, with Senegal playing Belgium. And Belgium eventually came back and won 3-2 over Senegal. The difference is that match between Senegal and Belgium went to extra time. And this one was finished in normal time, in added stoppage time. Time added for stoppages. So, and for me, the contention in the game with Senegal and Belgium was for the foul on Tielemans that led to a penalty.
Right.
Which eventually led Belgium to the win, right?
Interesting.
I don't think that this one was as contentious as that. To me, I feel like the Belgium issue was more clear-cut robbery of Senegal than this being robbery of Egypt. That's just my own feeling. I don't know how you feel about it. I know we're discussing both matches now, that match now, but I just think that there was contact made on Lisandro Martinez, though I'll admit it was a long time before the goal ended up scoring. Argentina had a whole lot of time to prevent Egypt from breaking and scoring. You question whether it was the same phase of play, and we'll have Victor explain that to us a little later, but it felt like that, that wasn't highway robbery the way I think Belgium's penalty against Senegal was highway robbery.
Let us look at this game in isolation. Leave Belgium alone.
Okay.
Messi was brilliant. He was brilliant today. And with about 6 minutes to go, Lionel realized that he was going to be out of the World Cup. You saw him move from the central area because he was trying to dribbles down the middle, the central areas, and he was just not getting through because of numbers. So he went on the left-hand side, isolated the wing back, and started working from there. It was magic, and he was awesome, splendid. But if the officials are going to be inconsistent, persons don't tell me that VAR looks and they check and then they determine, because there are other cases when you look and you send the referees to the screen. So I'm saying They appealed. It looked as if contact was made. It is close. You saw the replay. It was close. And contact was indeed made. I asked the referee to go over, allow him to say, nah, fine. But they did not do that. And I'm having a problem with that.
I see where your issue lies. Tyrone Marshall, the final score sheet reads Argentina 3, Egypt 2. There was much more to it than that. What are your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, a lot of controversy. I didn't think the game would be coming to this. It's, last night controversy with Balogun getting the opportunity to play, and today where the Argentina, scoring that goal against Egypt. Egypt had a goal called back in the kind of same manner, and the role was reversed, and it wasn't called against Argentina. With Egypt getting the brunt of that. So yeah, a lot of talking points. And I didn't think it was a fair outcome for Egypt because, again, if you're looking at it from a holistic or from a bird's eye view, you would think that the playing field should have been even and it should have been called back, just like how the first goal was called back, with Argentina getting the foul. And, same thing with Egypt. Egypt was fouled, Argentina went on and scored, and they didn't call back. So a little bit of, uncertainty there, and I hope it doesn't continue this way because it actually has been a good World Cup so far. And some good football has been played, and this is kind of starting to make it seem like it's putting a little bit of a blemish on the game so far.
Tyrone, question for you. Did that particular call or no call for Argentina's third goal, did it affect the outcome of the game in your opinion?
Yes, it did. I think so because it led to the winning goal. I think obviously Egypt, after that 15-minute stretch toward the end, I thought they lost the composure.
Sorry, Tyrone, wrong question. It was supposed to be about the second goal for Egypt being wiped off.
Yeah.
Did it affect the outcome of the game in your opinion?
I think it did because it took away their momentum. I thought.
But they scored after that though, Tyrone. They scored after that.
Yes, but I thought they had a good rhythm going. And I think, if they scored that goal, maybe they scored again, now it becomes 3-0. Now we're talking about a different circumstances now, So I think that just kind of led to everything that we saw toward the end, all the chaos, one goal didn't call one way and then the other one called the other way. So it's unfortunate for Egypt, but, I think game management at the end was kind of the detriment to them, so to speak.
You thought so, Coach? You thought it changed the outcome, not the Argentina third one, the Egypt original second goal that was chalked off. You think the outcome would have been different if that goal was allowed to stand?
Of course, it would have, because Egypt had a momentum. They were sitting so deep, nice low block, and they were set up perfect for transitioning as quick as possible. And they did it a couple of times before that moment, and they got one before, and then got that one, and then went on to score. No, 3-0 down. Psychologically...
Yeah, but we don't know if it would have been 3-0 though.
No, and I'm just saying 2 and a possible 1. 3. No, if it had gone that way, psychologically, Argentina and their coaching staff and the players on the pitch would be reacting. They would have reacted totally differently. And that would have... You leading 3-0? Here, it would have been a totally different game.
I know, but I don't want to assume that Egypt would have led 3-0 just because they scored after, because if the first one was allowed to stand, who says that Egypt would have pressed for a third goal?
Argentina would be coming forward with a high backline just the same. Because they're now 2-0 down.
But I'm not saying no, but I'm just saying...
So they would have been running more risk.
I don't want to assume that Egypt was going to go for a third goal. I think that's a risky assumption to make.
This is minute 56, 57 thereabout.
Yeah, probably
right, it's early.
61 or something.
Argentina is going to feel as if
they needed to go for...
they're going to push even higher.
I'm saying, if Egypt's second goal was allowed to stand,
right,
that would have been in I think probably about minute 60 or somewhere thereabout, right? If that goal was allowed to stand, it would be 2-0 up. Argentina obviously would have had the better part of 30 minutes to try to get 2 goals plus an extra one for the 3-2. Right? I'm not going to sit here and assume that if Egypt went 2-0 up, then they would go 3-0 up and score the other goal that they scored, because the mindset now would have probably been different. They would have sat back.
But they have been sitting
and just
back.
Allow the pressure.
No, they were sitting back before, but they were just picking their transitional moments and taking them. But remember, it came from a counter attack, from a good transitional moment, you know, and they took it. But I am saying, Jordan, Argentina would have reacted differently if the score had gone 3-0.
I know. I agree with that.
And the game would have been totally different.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. 3-0, of course, we're talking about a different ball game. 2-0, I'm not so sure. Let's take a break on Fan Central Extra Time. Lots more heated debate to come. Stay with us.
Martinez, Molina, Romero, Senesi, Taliafico, McAllister, Paredes, Fernández, Álvarez, González, respeten los rangos, el rey ya llegó. Es Argentina, Arge.
Welcome to the Pepsi Football Nation.
Rule number 1, it's called football, not soccer.
Rule number 2, they should get rid of VAR.
No. Every decision should go to VAR.
Write this down. Pepsi should be the official drink of the nation.
I love that. They won't agree on anything.
That's where Rule 100 kicks in. Everything gets settled on the pitch. What about you? What rule would you want?
Turn up to 25. Could I drive out fresh in a MG ride with a staycation all inclusive flex? Yeah. Hard to tell me the cash. Yes. Smart TV, PS5, and home upgrade.
Turn up your winnings this summer with Digicel. Sign up or switch to postpaid or Digicel Plus. Buy a SIM. Top up with 5 bills or more. Buy a 7-day plan or higher. A smartphone deal or just pay your bill. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act. Promotion period June 24 to September 5, 2026. Visit DigicelJamaica.com for terms and conditions.
Welcome to the Pepsi Football Nation.
Rule number 1, it's called football, not soccer.
Rule number 2, they should get rid of VAR.
No. Every decision should go to VAR.
Write this down. Pepsi should be the official drink of the nation.
I love that. They won't agree on anything.
That's where Rule 100 kicks in. Everything gets settled on the pitch. What about you? What rule would you want?
Respeten los rangos, el rey ya llegó.
Messi. That's what the Argentina fans are saying. No, them out in them numbers, you know, coach. They are out in their numbers, and deservedly so. Of course, you know, people are saying that they've robbed Egypt, and you know they left it late against Cape Verde as well. So Argentina with 2 very, very late performances to get into the quarterfinal in their 2 knockout games. You know what's interesting? It was so late that we were in Arnett Gardens today, and the Brazil fans thought that Argentina had already lost. And you know the tradition in Jamaica, when the next team loses, you have a burial for them. So they were having the burial for Argentina, yes, with the casket draped in the Argentina flag and everything. They were celebrating the life of Argentina at the World Cup because they said this was the last of it. And that was before Argentina came back to get the win. So let's see those premature celebrations.
But enjoy ourselves, means. But that mean, them burn yesterday, and today is...
Who burn you?
No man, Argentina fans, Portugal fans, Spain fans, they all bury us yesterday. This is our time to bury them. We're having a good time, we're enjoying ourselves in the community. This is Trench Town, from Spanish Town Road all the way up to 14th Street. Yes, we're keeping funeral service. We're selling... Dead Yards on 3rd Street. We're keeping the funeral service down at Maypen Cemetery. We're celebrating the life of Argentina today.
Talk about premature celebrations. So the Brazil fans all ganging up on Argentina, wanting Argentina to go home. And he said Portugal buried them as well. And I know all the Cristiano Ronaldo fans wanted Messi to lose, you know, because they want to say that Messi was eliminated at the same stage as Cristiano Ronaldo was eliminated at the World Cup. But now they're licking their wounds because, of course, Argentina found a way to come back. Thanks so much to Curlin Brown and our videographer, Crescendo Wallace, for their work at Colin Smith Drive today in capturing those scenes. By the way, Colin Smith Drive has been a picture of excitement anytime Brazil or Argentina playing a coach. Yeah. They are out in their numbers, face painted, all of those things.
You think you're probably in Brazil when it's going on.
Yeah. But it's a lesson in not celebrating too early, right? All right, but guess what? There's another video, and this one is particularly interesting. This is not from us now. This is somebody overseas who's always predicting the wrong scoreline.
Oh, gosh.
Sounds like somebody we know.
Kimani? Kimani's here in Jamaica, right?
Yeah, Kimani's in Jamaica. It's not Kimani, but probably this person is, I don't know, somehow affiliated with Kimani. Let's listen to
this. I got my money on the USA beating Belgium. I got my money on Portugal over Spain. I got my money on Ghana beating Colombia. What up, Brazil? Brazil just lost, so right now it's Viva Mexico. Mexico! All right, y'all, I know it's not looking good, but just trust me for this next one. I got my money on Colombia. Colombia's beating Switzerland. Come back to this if I'm wrong. And I'm going to be live.
Whoa.
So everyone has been wrong so far. I know he has Colombia beating Switzerland. So Colombia, obviously, not very much liking that pick. Tyrone, I mean, I guess some of those, you know, how the prediction thing goes, we'll get it wrong from time to time. Yeah, nobody predicted, I guess, Egypt to, well, actually, Kimani predicted Egypt to beat Argentina on penalties. So automatically that wasn't a good sign, right?
But he's always wrong, you know.
Yeah, but I'm saying, so automatically that wasn't a good sign. But I was just about to say that nobody would have predicted Egypt to push Argentina this far. Nobody predicted
Cape Verde did it. Come on. No, Cape Verde
nobody predicted Cape Verde to take Argentina all the way into extra time.
Right.
So we know how this game of prediction goes. But I want to switch the attention now, Tyrone, to Argentina's real chances now, based on today's performance of winning the World Cup. Because, of course, a lot of people are saying they got the easy side of the draw. By the way, I don't know why people keep harping on that, because they didn't create the draw. They played who was in front of them and beat who was in front of them. And now they are on the side of the draw that they're on. People are saying, well, you know, Egypt, and you get Cape Verde, and you get easy teams to go through all the way until the semi-finals. But what are their real chances now, though, of repeating as World Cup champs? That's a very rare feat.
Yeah, it's a rare feat, and I think it's also a difficult feat. As you can see, you know, both Cape Verde and now Egypt, you know, kind of push the defending champions to the brink of elimination. And, you know, I think it's only going to get harder, you know, being that the team that they're going to face are a little bit more depth, and I think more quality. You know, and I think the Argentines, when they run up into, you know, any of those opponents, it could be a France, it could be a England, so on and so forth. Those teams have real depth and real quality, and I think that's where, you know, I'll hate to say it for the Argentine fans, but I think that's where the end of the road is for them.
We've been saying that. Let's see. I spoke about it being a rare feat for teams to repeat, Coach. Italy, 1934 and 38. Brazil, 58 and 62. That's Pele's Brazil. Only teams ever in World Cup history. World Cup started in 1930. Only teams to ever repeat as World Cup champions. It's just very, very difficult to do. Of course, Pele's team came back and won in 1970 as well, because they lost in 66. England won that World Cup. Victor Stewart is the man of the moment, in my eyes. Because Victor Stewart is going to settle this score, right? As we talk about the contentious call in favor of Argentina, as some people see it, and against Egypt. Victor Stewart, tell us about, firstly, that second goal for Egypt that was wiped off because of a perceived foul in the build-up, and what VAR's powers are to make such a call.
All right. It is clearly written in the competition rules and the powers given to VAR if there is a foul in the APP means the attacking phase of play, and a goal resulted, then they can go back to the attacking phase and take the foul. So this was the case with the Argentinian, with the Egypt second goal, where a foul was committed. It doesn't matter where on the field, but if that foul was called, then that attack wouldn't have been developed then. And I would like to draw a reference to that foul with the Mexico-England game, when a foul was also committed in almost the same area or close to. And then play shifted to the other end. VAR intervened and the referee went to the monitor, go back to that first foul, issued a red card, and restart play with a direct free kick for Mexico. So yes, it is fully legal for the referee to go back to the APP for the foul.
But Victor, I think the question is, what constitutes the same phase of play? Because that seemed like it happened an eternity ago, and then they went all the way back to that. How do we know when the phase of play has changed?
So the team that benefits from committing the offense did not lose the ball, so it's the same phase of play. The play continued towards the opponent goal. If Egypt had lost that ball and say Argentina won it and turn it over, then the phase would have changed.
I see. So it was the same phase of play, no matter if it seemed like it happened last night and came over into today. They didn't lose the ball, so it was the same phase of play. What are your thoughts on the third goal that Argentina scored? Because then that one seemed to have been, or some people are saying that it seemed like it was a foul on Salah in Argentina's box. Argentina win the ball, I don't think they lose it again, and they attack in that phase of play, and the counter-attack leads to their third goal, which turns out to be the winner. What's your take on that?
Firstly, when I look at the replay, I didn't see a foul. Didn't see a foul for the reason. The first challenge by the Argentinian defender, if the ball had gone ahead where Salah was facing goal, the ball was facing goal and Salah was facing goal, then it would have been different. But if you look back at that play, the ball was behind Salah, and he moved his leg to try to regain possession of the ball, while the defending player also did the same thing. So both players were doing the same thing. Neither of them had the ball. Neither of them had the ball. Neither of them played the ball. Both played each other's leg. And I like to use analogies. Hurricane challenge on the Mexican player in the box. Sorry, in the penalty area. I like to refer to it as the penalty area. When both players did the same thing, the Mexican player did play the ball, but Hurricane played the Mexican player leg. So in every foul that we consider, we have to consider the ability to play the ball, or was the ball within playing distance. In Salah's case, the ball was behind him, and he was trying to retrieve the ball while the defender was trying to do the same thing. Neither of them played the ball, and it is referred to as incidental contact in a genuine way of trying to win possession of the ball.
There was also an incident, I don't know if you saw this one, where the Argentina player Alexis McAllister was seen pulling the shirt, tugging the shirt of the Egyptian player, and that was in that same play. The ball then went to Salah, and then the incident happened, and then Argentina attacked and scored from that. I don't know if you saw that one, but there was a tug on the shirt from McAllister. But I'm wondering if that would have constituted the same phase of play.
All right, so first I didn't actually see that one, but there's a difference between shirt tugging and shirt holding. And we talk about impact. I am not privy to the video, so I can't make a definitive conclusion. However, if the shirt is tugged and the player maintains position and his team benefits, then it would not be considered a foul because it did not have an impact. So,
I hear what you're saying. I'll probably send that video to you in the break so that you can have a look at it and come back.
Yeah. I would appreciate that.
With a more definitive
VAR.
VAR, right? VAR in the break. VAR, we'll call it to the screen, Victor.
Yes.
But Victor, question though: do you think that the second goal for Egypt, the initial second goal which was overturned, do you think that would have had an impact on the final outcome of the game, given that Egypt still went on to score a second, went up 2-0, and then Argentina came back to win 3-2?
Probably it will be 3-0. Probably it will be 3-0 up by then. You know, you just never know, Jordan. Momentum shift. At the same time, it may work in the reverse where Argentina deeper at that time also. And maybe it would have given Egypt a further kick to score a third goal. You just never know. But as I said, I don't think there was anything wrong as far as the VAR protocol is concerned, because they do have the autonomy to go back to the APP. And I did use the Mexican analogy with England with that red card when they went back to the APP.
Yeah. Tyrone, a lot of people, I mean, Messi now has scored in all his games in this World Cup, and now he has 9 games in a row coming back from the last World Cup to this World Cup, which is unprecedented. He's the only player to have ever scored in 9 games in a row in World Cup football. At 39 years old, speak to me about the impact that he's having on this Argentina team, because, I mean, it just seems like without him, they would be nowhere.
Yeah, Messi is the heartbeat of Argentina right now, and they facilitate that. The collective has facilitated that. They understand that Messi is what's going to make them, tick, and so they're going to do whatever it takes, to provide him, the opportunity to give them a goal. Because look, he's taken 2 penalty kicks and he missed both, and I think if they had a 3rd penalty kick, he would take it again. So. They understand what Messi is about, and the collective is going to work for Messi. It's like the queen bee in the hive. The worker bees, they're going to go out and they're going to do everything to facilitate that. Not saying Messi is the queen bee, but just to give you an analogy of what they do. They're going to work for him and know that he's going to produce for him, for them at any particular time, and give them the opportunity to go on, and hope maybe repeat, but who knows, And one more thing, Jordan. One more thing before I say, I don't understand, watching the World Cup, why they haven't reverted to man marking. Where did that concept go? Somebody does stay on Messi the whole time. He's the one that's scoring the goal. Take Messi out of the game. Follow him to the sideline. Follow him to the bottom, wherever it is. Man mark him. And then everybody else will try and beat them.
Yeah. Well, we're going to take a break. I know Coach Thomas wants to come in. Let's take a break on Fan Central Extra Time. We'll talk to Coach Thomas about that particular philosophy after this.
It's game on at Quartz. Spend $150,000 on credit purchases or $250,000 on cash at Quartz from May 1, 2026 to June 20, 2026 to be automatically entered for a chance to win one of 3 smart TVs to watch the matches in style. First place gets a 98-inch TCL Smart TV. Second place a 55-inch. And third place a 43-inch. Score big and upgrade your game day vibes when you shop at Quartz, bringing value home. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act. Conditions apply.
Welcome to the Pepsi Football Nation.
Rule number 1, it's called football, not soccer.
Rule number 2, they should get rid of VAR.
No. Every decision should go to VAR.
Write this down. Pepsi should be the official drink of the nation.
I love that. They won't agree on anything.
That's where Rule 100 kicks in. Everything gets settled on the pitch. What about you? What rule would you want?
Could I drive out fresh in a MG ride with a staycation all inclusive flex? Yeah. Heart of Jamaica cash. Yes. Smart TV, PS5, and home upgrade.
Turn up your winnings this summer with Digicel. Sign up or switch to postpaid or Digicel Plus by a SIM. Top up with 5 bills or more. Buy a 7-day plan or higher, a smartphone deal, or just pay your bill. Authorized under Section 58(3) of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act. Promotion period June 24 to September 5, 2026. Visit DigicelJamaica.com for terms and conditions.
Let's delve deep into the issues. We'll take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins, and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yes. Looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's Fan Central.
Nobody tell me about your team and them not make the same. Game sweet, girl, I call it sugar daddy. Silva, Vidme, Ricardo Rodrigues, Raymond Froile, Ruben Vargas, Daniel Doi, Seki Amdouni, Brian Embolo. Respect die Farben, der Chef ist hier.
All right, welcome back to Fan Central Extra Time. So, as we told you before the break, the much anticipated Fame or Shame will be coming up. But as you can see from that intro, obviously Switzerland progressing to the quarterfinal stage, booking their spot against Argentina, who they will face now on Saturday, July 11 in the last 8. Switzerland overcoming the challenge of Colombia, getting the better of them 4-3 on the dreaded penalty shootout after they failed to break the deadlock. Both teams failed to break the deadlock after 120 minutes of football. And get this, it was the lowest XG combined for both teams for this World Cup. It was 0.7 combined, 0.4 for one team, 0.3 for the other team in terms of expected goals. Those are the statistics on screen. Those are the penalty takers, and you can see where Manuel Akanji missed his for Switzerland, but there were 2 misses for Colombia, Davinson Sanchez and Juan Hernandez. I know we've spoken on this show already about centre-backs taking penalties. Davinson Sanchez missing his penalty. So again, we're not ganging up on the defenders. And we know that Tyrone Marshall and Brent Sancho, they are part of the coalition of persons speaking up for defenders. But I don't really like when centre-backs take penalties, especially when they're not known to take penalties. I know some people are, good at penalty taking and good at ball striking, but I'm not sure Davinson Sanchez is one of those people. I wouldn't ask for a penalty to be taken and say, I'll choose Davinson Sanchez to take this penalty for me. But anyway, Colombia did, and they paid a hard price, and they're now gone back home. James Rodriguez and Luis Diaz are out of the World Cup, and Granit Xhaka and Briel Embolo and so on are through to the round of 8 to face Lionel Messi. All right. Too much chatting from me. Kimani O'Sullivan is generally one who thinks the game of football, but he also thinks he knows the game of football, which he probably doesn't quite know the game of football that well. But let's see if his Fame or Shame picks reflect an improvement in his ball knowledge.
You know what, Jordan Fort, you're a real trash talker, but I'm going to allow it today because we have a clash coming up between Belgium and Spain. So our 2 teams are on a collision course. So I'm going to see how confident you are going into that one on the day when you get a shellacking at the hands of Belgium. But anyway, let's get to the Fame or Shame because I'm in the hot seat for today to choose the list. Rashida Murphy isn't here, so it's not Murphy's Law. It's not Murphy's list. It's my list. So give me number 3 on my Fame or Shame list. Of course, this one is coming from the Egypt game between Egypt and Argentina. Rashida Murphy, if you're watching, I must apologize to you because I have done the same thing I have criticized you for. I have went with a losing player. And, get this, Rashida Murphy, he's a goalie. Mustafa Schubert. I mean, wow. What a performance. Really tough on him to not go through to the next round after that performance. He was actually just parrying away some point-blank range shots that Alexis McAllister header comes to mind among the other saves he's been making. So, Schubert, you were number 3 on the fame list. Tough luck. You got a little... I guess Argentina got a little stimulus package from our good friends over there at FIFA, but we don't want to get into that. Anyway, number 2, got to go with the Argentine centre-back, Cuti Romero. Now, many of you might be wondering, what is Cuti Romero doing in a position like that at that point of the game? Well, you saw. He's a very clutch player for Argentina. He leads the defense, of course, he and Lisandro Martinez, but when they needed a goal, he said, "Skipper, find me, I'll do it." Back that header to spark the comeback. He's number 2 on the list. He avoided a few yellow cards that were a bit dodgy, but we're not getting into that. Number 1.
Messi.
Jordan Ford, he's absolutely inevitable. We were speaking about that goal that he scored off air, Jordan, and the ball just seems to find him. He has this magnetic thing about him. A goal and an assist. I just mentioned that Cuti Romero assist for the header. Lionel Messi, leave us alone. You have a beautiful wife, you have lovely children, you've won all these trophies, you've won the World Cup already. Go home, Roger. Please, leave us alone. Let us just enjoy the World Cup. But until then, El Goto, you're number 1 on the fame list. Congratulations, Messi. And it pains me to say this, but they might be going back to back. They might be. I'm not sure. They might be. But I have a shame pick. It pains me to do this. It pains me to do this because of the circumstances. Hassan, it's really tough. You have a player like Marmoush on the bench until the 80th minute. That's criminal. I'm sorry. Yes, you were up 2-0, but the minute Argentina got that first goal, that was your point where you put on a striker like Marmoush to attack them in transition. He's one of the fastest players at the World Cup. We've seen what he can do for Manchester City. Put him on a bit earlier. He's your best forward. He's your best striker. Of course, Mohamed Salah is the best attacker. But you have Omar Marmoush on the bench. You gave him 10 minutes. Unacceptable. So this is a really reluctant shame pick, Jordan, I must say. I'm a bit harsh on the coach, but I had to choose somebody. And I think Marmoush could have been a game changer for them.
All right, so we are friendly to the goalkeepers and we're hostile against coaches in this fame or shame business.
Don't forget the defenders. We're harsh on defenders taking penalties. We're harsh
on centre-backs taking penalties as well. Tyrone Marshall, your thoughts on Kimani's picks?
Kimani, your list looked pretty good. I would say the goalkeeper definitely was saving on top of his head. I mean, he kept the Egyptians in the game early.
Yeah.
I think like Alvarez, that shot from Alvarez, like point blank in the box, right? So yeah, I would agree with you. The only change I would make is probably put Fernandez, because he scored the winner. Yes, Enzo, he scored the winner. So I would have put him at second. But I like your choices, though. You went for the equalizer. I would have gone for the winner. And then, of course, Messi, the number 1. Yeah. So you're spot on with that, the goal being on top. And I think you made a really good point in terms of the fame or the shameless where the coach put Marmoush on earlier. Yeah. Because the game, it was a game for transition. And as you can see, I think earlier, Jordan, we mentioned about that second goal that got called back. You put Marmoush on earlier in that moment, maybe the game opened up, right? And it could be now 2-0 going into 3, because now you have outlets. You have Salah, you have Marmoush on the other side. 2 guys with speed that would have kept the Argentines on their toes.
Yep.
And I think that would have definitely been a game changer. So, Kimani, well done. I agree with your list for the most part. So keep it going. Belgium, you guys on a roll this week, Kimani. Keep it going.
Hey, Tyrone Marshall. My opponent's at the desk. All right? He might be a bit nervous over there. Come on.
Yeah.
We will see how that particular assignment goes when my Spain takes on Kimani's Belgium. You probably want to join me at the desk, Kimani.
Of course,
because
I'm sure you'd enjoy that.
Switzerland and Colombia could not be separated after 120 minutes. Switzerland holding their nerve and advancing to the quarterfinals of the World Cup via the dreaded penalty shootout. Switzerland did miss a penalty. Manuel Akanji missed, as I said at the top of the segment. And of course, Colombia missing a couple, including Davinson Sanchez, the centre-back, missing his, sorry to pick on Sanchez again. But one thing that stood out to me about the Swiss, and as much as we have been, and even our producer has been, you know, singing the praises of Colombia, I really like the look of the Colombians. You know, play entertaining football, a real South American flair about them. You know, we've seen James Rodriguez come alive, not the last World Cup, but the one before. That's where he really made his name in 2018. And obviously we know the pace and the electric nature of a Luis Diaz, for example. But the discipline, tactically and technically, of the Swiss was impressive to me. I hate nil-all games, and I hate games that are going to go to the penalty shootout. But something must be said just about how difficult it is to break Switzerland down. Yeah, Jordan, you know, when you analyze the lineup and the Switzerland players, they're gifted with such disciplined, experienced players. You're talking about your Akanjis, your Granit Xhakas, your Ricardo Rodriguez's, and your Kobels in goal. I just think that back six in particular, you know, Freuler and Xhaka in the middle, that double pivot, and then the Akanji, the Elvedi, and the you know, Ricardo Rodriguez, as I said, and even a right back who is a midfielder in Zakaria. It just seems like they neutralized a very direct Colombia team. They have quite a few runners. You're talking about Diaz and Suarez, but this defense, they're mean. You know, they're stingy. And I just think they managed to neutralize one of the most exciting CONMEBOL teams in the tournament. So, I mean, championships are built on great defenses, they say. So, maybe Switzerland might be live for the title. Who knows? You know, I was going to go to, you know, I guess jumping the gun a bit, Tyrone, in terms of that Switzerland-Argentina matchup. You know, to borrow an old boxing adage, you say styles make fights. And you just think that the kind of disciplined, tenacious European outfit that Switzerland is can probably give an Argentina trouble with the way they play.
You know, on the contrary, I would say no. And the reason why I said that, because, you know, you see a Switzerland team really disciplined in their low blocks, in their defensively. How team like that can be broken down is with a little bit of creativity, flair, you know, the tiki-taka, so to speak. And the Argentines possessed a really good player called Messi, who can create those little spaces, who can find those gaps.
I've heard of him.
Breaking the lines.
I've heard of him, Tyrone.
Right? Yeah, and I think, you know, they could be in for a little bit of an issue because they're able to play in those gaps and play in between the line and play in behind, where the Colombians now today, like you said, utilizing the speed on the wing, and how you neutralize that is by creating a block. So you don't have that much space to run into. But now with the Messi and in the Argentine team who can play through the lines, and you know, you don't need a lot of space behind the defense. So that's going to cause a lot of problems. All they need is the space in front of the defense to create problems.
But I just want to interject here. So Tyrone, though, when you think about it, doesn't Switzerland have somewhat of a template to work with, since Egypt, you know, basically frustrated the Argentinian attack? I mean, we've seen, you know, Messi struggle to really impact the game, other than the goal and assist, of course. Those were moments, and he'll always have moments, but isn't there something to build on for Switzerland? I'll let him answer that after the break. Tyrone, I'll let you answer that after the break. We must take a break, and we come back and get your answer on that. Stay tuned. Fan Central Extra Time.
When the Lala go net fi full up, match link up, Fan Central full up. Me team win, every bad cover lift up. Them a silly billy, me carry real bad team, not a illy billy. Now bandwagon to the thing, now bother switchy. Represent for your team to the nitty gritty. School silly billy. Now bother tell me about your team and them not make the semi. Game sweet, girl I call it sugar.
Welcome to the Pepsi Football Nation.
Rule number 1, it's called football, not soccer.
Rule number 2, they should get rid of VAR.
No. Every decision should go to VAR.
Write this down. Pepsi should be the official drink of the nation.
I love that. They won't agree on anything.
That's where Rule 100 kicks in. Everything gets settled on the pitch. What about you? What rule would you want?
Turn up to 25. Turn up to 25. Could I drive out fresh in a MG ride with a staycation all inclusive flex? Yeah. Hard to Jamaica cash. Yes. Smart TV, PS5, and home upgrade.
Turn up your winnings this summer with Digicel. Sign up or switch to postpaid or Digicel Plus. Buy a SIM. Top up with 5 bills or more. Buy a 7-day plan or higher. A smartphone deal or just pay your bill. Authorized under Section 58(3) of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act. Promotion period June 24 to September 5, 2026. Visit DigicelJamaica.com for terms and conditions.
It's game on at Quartz. Spend $150,000 on credit purchases or $250,000 on cash at Quartz from May 1, 2026 to June 20, 2026 to be automatically entered for a chance to win one of 3 smart TVs to watch the matches in style. First place gets a 98-inch TCL Smart TV. Second place a 55-inch. And third place a 43-inch. Score big and upgrade your game day vibes when you shop at Quartz, bringing value home. Authorized under Section 58(3) of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act. Conditions apply.
Fernández, Álvarez, González, respeten los rangos, el rey ya llegó. Es Argentina,
Messi.
Oh,
Tough.
that's the new favorite song or
Tough,
something?
tough.
You like it?
I like all the anthems, by the way. I think it was France who came up with this whole idea of anthems. The one with Pogba and
the French team when they won the last.
When they won the World Cup in 2018, right?
Yeah.
So coming of age
Beautiful song, by the way.
of Kylian Mbappe. Yeah. You remember how the French one go again?
Allez les bleus, allez.
Yeah. Because I think they stole
N'Golo.
Yeah. That was a nice one. You were asking Tyrone a question before the break about Argentina and Swiss matchup. Quickly, before we get into hot topic.
Yeah. So Tyrone Marshall, of course, we've seen how Egypt stymied Lionel Messi's impact to some extent. Of course, he had those 2 moments, but I just want to ask you because not all low blocks are built the same. The Egypt low block and the Cape Verde low blocks aren't of the same quality of a Switzerland's low block. So I'm saying, doesn't Switzerland have that template to work with and possibly be a tougher and sterner test for Argentina to break down as opposed to Egypt and Cape Verde? Because this is their biggest test, isn't it?
Yes, and great question, by the way, Kimani. Like I mentioned before, each game you progress in the tournament, it gets harder and harder. Yes, they created a template in terms of the Swiss. They're a more difficult, more disciplined team than a Cape Verde or the Egypt team like we just saw. However, the key factor or the X factor in all of this is Messi, right? And I think going into this game, I think you will have the staff will make the adjustments and see what's needed, to go at the Switzerland team, even with their, stalwart defending and good organization and good low block. What does break down a low block, like I said to you, is creativity and the cue in terms of the timing. And Argentina possesses those things. They're really, really good at those things. The cue, meaning, I think there's a play where Messi was looking for the ball. He just checked back and then running behind. And the ball was played by, I think it's the Paul, right? So these are the things, these are the understanding that they have. And that entail is going to break down the Switzerland low block or their organized defense, in my opinion.
Jordy, we know where the predictions is going.
We know where the predictions are going. I think Tyrone has been doing pretty well in terms of the predictions.
Yeah, he has.
I started out on fire, but then I ran out of steam.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but I'm going to try to pick back up.
Like old Arsenal, right? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm
sorry.
Gonna try to pick back up in the quarterfinal stage. I'm gonna just excuse that comment from Mr. O'Sullivan. By the way, we were reacting, of course, at the start of the show to that whole issue between Egypt and Argentina and the controversy, the disallowed goal for Egypt and the goal that was allowed to stand for Argentina, which turned out to be a winning goal. We weren't the only ones watching on. Trevor Noah, the renowned comedian and talk show host, and Don Cheadle were watching as well. Let's look at their reaction.
Go, Salah! Go, Salah! Go! Oh my God, this kid. For post! Come on! Come on! God! Yes! Yes! Oh my God! Take off your shirt! Don't take off your shirt! It's a yellow card! Yeah! Oh my Let's God! Go! Let's go! Oh my God! Let's go! Wow.
How did he?
Oh my God!
Oh, they're going to go like the foul.
Don't do it!
On his shoe. He stepped there.
Don't do it!
Come on. Oh, but that was such a beautiful goal.
Oh
my God, that was such a beautiful.
Oh my God!
Guys, come on, But this is when they said VAR spoils the game.
No, it's so whack. Like these things, I don't know. Maybe
that was such a guys.
These things happen.
No, man, but come on, that's a coming together.
These
you know, some of these calls in other games they don't get called. Argentina gets these calls for them all the time, guys.
Yeah. Pretty much what we were saying, right? The whole time, right? Differing opinions. Right, Tyrone? It was like, oh no, how did it, you know, it's, I guess, I want to say it's football, but let me be more specific. It's modern day football. Yeah. Because back in the day, a goal gets allowed, you have to work with what the on-field call is, right? There's no going back. You argue about it after the replay, after seeing it on TV, but nowadays, you can't even celebrate a goal too early, Tyrone, because you don't know if it's going to get chalked off. And they might go back 15 seconds or to the day before, it was the same phase of play, right? As Victor Stewart educated us. Same attacking phase of play, and they wiped the goal away. So you can understand the kind of angst from fans watching on, and you know, I don't like to start to speculate about anything untoward from officials, and so I don't think that's what's going on, and so I'm not going to go there. But you know, fans, I guess they get heated, hot under the collar when they see their team lose like that, or a team they support lose like that. So, yeah, and of course, as we said, the Jamaican fans wanted to keep a burial for Argentina. Yeah. And they didn't get to do that. So, can see why they were upset. We have this other one in Hot Topics. It's talking about some countries that don't wear the colors of the national flag on their kits. This is an interesting one because the Reggae Boys, if you remember, got a new kit from Adidas, and it featured quite a bit of red. It's not featured in the Jamaican colors anywhere, of course. I think the only country with not red, blue, or white in its national flag. So unique. But then red appears on the jersey. But there are interesting stories as to why some countries actually don't wear the colors of their national flags in their jerseys.
Why don't these national football teams play in the colour of their flags, like most countries do? Well, Germany wear white and black, as these were the colours of the Prussian Empire, which ruled over land including Germany when they played their first international football match in 1897, but collapsed after the First World War. Contrary to the samurai blue branding of the Japanese kit, Japan actually wear blue because the first team to represent Japan internationally were a Tokyo University team whose colours were dark blue. The team briefly wore red between 1988 and 1991, but decided to switch back out of superstition after a string of poor results. Australia initially wore blue and maroon, but adopted green and gold in 1924 in tribute to the country's national flower, the golden wattle. For Ghana, meanwhile, the black star is a symbol of Pan-Africanism that links back to the Jamaican activist Marcus Garvey, who founded the Black Star Line, a shipping company owned entirely by black people. When Ghana gained independence in 1957, a black star was placed on their flag, and the national team became known as the Black Stars, which is why they play in a white kit with a black star on it.
Yeah, very interesting. So because I remember when the conversation came up about red being in Jamaica's jersey, people were saying, well, there are some countries that don't wear the colors of the flag, so what about them? So no, there's context. There's a reason why those countries actually wear those colors. Obviously, the reasoning commercially, I think for Adidas putting red in there was the Rastafari reasons. We heard mention of Marcus Garvey in that clip just now about the Black Star line and why the Black Stars use the Black Star. But yeah, so there is a reason behind it. I don't know how Tyrone felt about that whole issue of the new Reggae Boys jersey and how it looked. Tyrone, you'd have been used to the black, green and gold.
Yes. And again, that was back in my time. Things are evolving, things are changing, it's a different era now, right? And you kind of have to adjust, your profile and, your outlook and see if maybe a little bit of change can help with our luck to see if we can get back to the World Cup. So whatever color they want to put, as long as it represents something dealing with their culture, dealing with the people, dealing with the island, I'm all for it, and whatever we can do to go back to the World Cup, that's important. So as long as it's commercial and, you're going to get the support from the people and from everywhere else, I'm for it.
Yeah, putting money in the coffers, of course, to help with development as well. This next topic, hot topic, Kimani, I find very interesting because obviously we've been talking about the greatness of Lionel Messi. He's now on 8 goals, now again sole leader of the Golden Boot race. Remember, he was joined by Harry Kane and Mbappe. And Haaland is at 7 now?
Yep.
Haaland is at 7 now. So they were there. He separated himself again, of course. Everybody else is yet to play. Harry Kane still in the competition, Mbappe and Haaland still in the competition. So it's going to be a very, very close Golden Boot race. There we are in terms of the number of goals. Kane is at 6, Haaland 7, Mbappe 7. Yeah, going to be a tight race for the Golden Boot. But at 39 years old, Messi continues to defy conventional sporting logic and sporting wisdom, right? Because at that age, he's not supposed to be playing this well and leading the Golden Boot race. But there's something about the way Messi plays which lends itself to longevity. Obviously great genes and I'm sure a great diet and science and technology that goes behind his workouts. But I want to listen to this because, there is a thought process that this guy could actually go to another World Cup after this.
He just walks around. What's the percentage of him walking?
So he covers about 6.6 kilometers per game, out of which 62% is walking, which means that he will be in the next World Cup because you raise 62 or 63% to 75% and still will make it. By the way, walking 62% of that 6-point-something kilometers is the best goal scorer in the World Cup, best goal scorer in the MLS for 2 years, best goal scorer in the qualifiers. So he's still got it.
So more than 60% of the time, Kimani, he's walking. I remember seeing that just an isolation shot of Erling Haaland before he scored the first goal against Brazil.
Lounging around.
He was just walking. He was lulling them to sleep. Players have now started to adopt this thing that Messi has essentially done for his entire career, and it has allowed him to play for so long. 62% of the 6.6 kilometers that he's covered, he's walking. Do you think that realistically we could be looking at Lionel Messi at the next World Cup?
100%, and I'll tell you why, beginning with Lionel Scaloni. We talk about systems, we talk about, I'm sure it was Tyrone asking, or was it Coach Thomas earlier in the game speaking about the lack of man-to-man pressing. When it comes to systems and making things work, the Argentinian team allows for this because they have so many workhorses around Messi. People talk about Ronaldo and his lack of mobility, his lack of, pressing and so on and so forth. But if the team is set up to, just make room for that, and then he can be a force on the ball, then I can foresee him being at another World Cup. Why not? But that's just how great he is, and you won't make that adjustment for any player. I mean, this is Lionel Messi, so yeah, I can foresee it, Jordan.
Yeah, Tyrone.
Yeah, I don't see him playing at the next World Cup. I think he's a good enough player where you understand he's reached his limit. But I did see an interesting piece that Pep Guardiola mentioned on Lionel Messi, the walking piece of it. He's not necessarily just walking around. He's scanning and finding the spaces, so he's active, in those moments. He's looking for the moment to explode. So, it's a productive walking. Let's put it that way. Very productive walking.
So he's walking with purpose.
Walking with purpose. There you go.
He's looking.
With intent. With intention.
I like that one.
And that's how he loses markers a lot of the times, because as a centre back, you're saying, okay, there he is. Okay, there he is. Wait.
Where is he?
That's a cut.
You don't know when he's gonna.
Yeah. It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
It is, and that's why he is so brilliant. All right. Well, we are winding down Fan Central Extra Time for today. We want to just give you a preview of the matches to come up. There are no matches tomorrow. Tomorrow is a rest day at the World Cup. So the round of 8, which is the quarterfinals, that will start on Thursday. This is the bracket. France, Morocco, Spain, Belgium.
I don't know why you're looking at me, Jordan.
Spain, Belgium.
Yeah, lower your voice.
Norway versus England, and Argentina versus Switzerland on that side. Want to see the other side of the bracket. By the way, anyone? I think the Spain-Belgium stands out. Norway-England is very interesting, though.
Yeah, that one's very interesting as well, Jordan. I think so. That's going to be a very good game.
Yeah. Have you predicted these yet? All of these yet?
No, I haven't predicted yet, but I can tell you France over Morocco, Spain over Belgium.
Spain over who? Okay, can we take that graphic off the screen?
Kimani, what are you saying?
Take that graphic off the screen for a second. Because Tyrone Marshall, he always does this, Jordan, for it. He says these things, and then when it doesn't happen, he comes, and then he uses his slick former reggae boy tone and say, hey, Kimani, good stuff, you and Belgium, man. I know you guys had it in you.
But I want you to talk with your head and not your heart, Kimani.
Okay.
Correct.
Sure.
Let's start with France-Morocco then. France-Morocco.
That one's tricky, Jordan. It's tricky.
Really?
Yeah, it is.
Pre-tournament favorites, France?
Yeah, it's
all
Morocco.
The firepower?
It's Morocco.
Kylian Mbappe?
It depends on Saibari. I think Saibari's availability will heavily impact that one, because
really?
Jordan, we've seen upsets.
But we've been waxing lyrically about France.
Yeah. Jordan, can I jump in on this one too as well?
Yeah.
This was the only team that I was worried about, because I was backing the French, right? And I said, if these two teams collide, I think the Moroccans could give the French problem.
I think so too. Yeah.
And so that's why I'm very cautious, but obviously I'm going with the French. I think they have a lot of firepower in the end of it. Olise, Mbappe, Dembele, all of these guys can do it. All those guys, I think, can, overcome it. But I think that the Moroccan definitely, is a big threat.
Yeah.
So you're going with France?
Yes.
I'm going with France as well.
And Kimani, you're going with France as well.
France.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you say it's tricky.
It is.
Spain, Belgium. Is that tricky? I know you can't separate your head from your heart here.
Here's what I will say, Jordan.
Okay.
As a Belgium fan, I am immensely proud of where we are. We've gotten this far, especially against the hate watchers who have been on this set and are on Zoom.
Here we go. He's conceding.
Abroad. But I must confess, I think we take them. I think we'll get it done.
You think Belgium gets it done?
Yes. I think benching Doku and Kevin De Bruyne has shown Rudy Garcia that we can play team football, and that USA performance has me believing that we can play Spain toe to toe and actually come out on top, honestly speaking.
Yeah, I'll say I think by no means Spain is unbeatable, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they've shown weaknesses, but only team so far, right? Still yet to concede a goal.
That is true.
Haven't conceded a goal, so they've shown that solidity, and it's not. And you say defensively, and you think, yeah, but the defenders don't really stand out. But it's not about the defenders; it's about the possession.
That's true.
That they hold, and they force you into submission. That's the way Spain plays.
Yeah.
It's not pretty all the time, but they're so difficult to score against because they have the ball for so long, and they generally score. Mikel Oyarzabal has shown that throughout this tournament, and then obviously the live Lamine Yamal hasn't even necessarily come alive yet. I think Baena has been playing very well. It's unfortunate Nico Williams hasn't been Nico Williams at full 100%.
Yeah.
But the options there are good. Ferran Torres off the bench is a brilliant.
He was really good off the bench in that last game as well. I don't think he got enough credit for slipping through Mikel Merino on that. So that was brilliant.
And Merino himself is another great option off the bench as well. So I do see where it will be tricky because I think Belgium played their best football in that game against the USA.
Yeah, it's a long time.
And I know that's going to be a tricky game. All right, predict and win. You can get in on the action. We have been predicting here. Here's how you get into it. If you think you know ball, the Fan Central Prediction Challenge, it is now open and it's free to enter. And that is how you can enter. WhatsApp 833-0897. That's 876-833-0897 for a chance to win weekly prizes. For more sponsors, Mothers, Digicel, and Pepsi. Predict, analyze, and get featured. Thank you so much because we are at the end of Fan Central Extra Time. And as usual, we don't go into penalty shootout here. So when Extra Time ends, we have a result. And the result is that we're the winner. We have to thank our sponsors. Pepsi. Pepsi, Football Nation, where fans make the rules. Football better with
Pepsi.
And, of course, Digicel and our official food sponsors, Mothers. We see you next time. Tomorrow is a rest day, so we'll see you on Thursday inside Fan Central Extra Time.
Argentina! Me carry real bad team, not a illy-billy. No bad wagon to the thing, no bad a switchy. Represent for your team to the nitty-gritty. School them, silly billy. No bad a tell me about your team and them not make the semi. VM sweet, girl I call it sugar daddy. CVM TV, for everybody.
Fan Central Extra Time was brought to you by Pepsi Football Nation, where fans make the rules. Football, better with Pepsi. We also want to thank Digicel. Turn up your winnings this summer with Digicel. Courts, bringing value home. Mothers, love in every bite. Regency Petroleum Limited, the real price leader. And Just Bet Goal Rush. Watch all the games on the biggest screens in the Caribbean.
From Kingston, Jamaica, this is CVM News at 7 for Tuesday, July 7, 2026. I'm Nika Lewis. Thank you for joining us. While many are still awaiting surgeries and still rescheduling appointments for services offered under the recently terminated Cuban healthcare program, the wait might be made a little shorter. This as Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton, in an interview with our news team on Tuesday, says returning Cuban healthcare professionals will possibly resume or reassume their posts they previously held within the local healthcare system. Natasha Williams sat down with the health minister and files this report.
Following the ending of the Cuban healthcare program in Jamaica in March, recently up to 50 nurses reapplied to re-enter the country under direct government contracts. Our health minister, Dr. Christopher Tufton, signaled this as a good move for the public healthcare system.
We have always said that this is not a goodbye. It's a new arrangement that we're putting on the table, and the response so far has been good.
Good. So the number is actually over 40 or just...
Initially 42 had stayed, but another nearly 50 have since applied. So that would bring the number up closer to 100.
He stressed that the return of the Cuban nurses is part of a bigger drive to undertake a multinational approach within the healthcare system. Dr. Tufton said some of the nurses have already arrived in the island, and the only difference with the new arrangement is that they'll be paid directly by the government. Under the previous 50-year-long agreement, the Cuban Eye Care program was hailed as one of the most beneficial initiatives. Dr. Tufton says he's hoping to see some of the Cuban returnees occupying posts previously held.
But they'll be deployed quickly because we know their efforts and their value, and it's just a matter of trying to. Some may go back to where they were, others may be reassigned. All are specialists, and we had some of the eye care people staying, so the program is still there, but many left, so we have to vote so that. So yeah, I don't know the specifics of those coming, but I do hope that some of them would be in that program.
That would come as a great news for 87-year-old Lurleen Grant, who told our news team that she has made several appointments with the previous Cuban nurses at the St. Joseph's Hospital to have an eye care surgery done since 2024.
And each time I come, they send me somewhere to do some tests. I went to the Heart Foundation. I did some tests. I bring back the results. And they told me they would call me. When I came the Wednesday, they told me they would call me. Only to find that on the Friday I was listening to news and they all went back to Cuba. So now the eye is getting worse. And that's why I came this morning to find out what time they're coming back.
Mrs. Grant, who said she suffers from cataract in both eyes, revealed that she traveled from St. Catherine to the St. Joseph's Hospital in the corporate area, anticipating some good news about another possible surgery date. Her wishes were not granted, but she said the news of the returning Cuban nurses should suffice.
All Jamaica feel good because they are so reliable, and I don't hear nobody complain who had this surgery done. That is why I'm interested to get mine done by the Cuban doctor. With all my heart, I'm anticipating the Cuban doctors come back to Jamaica.
Natasha Williams, CVM News.
Debate over whether Parliament's Internal and External Affairs Committee meetings should be held on a proactive or reactive basis dominated discussions during Tuesday's sitting of the committee in Gordon House. Committee chairperson and Member of Parliament for St. Andrew West Rural, Juliet Cuthbert-Flynn, says both are possible. Crystal Williams reports.
The main points to be discussed during sittings of Parliament's Internal and External Affairs Committee include foreign policy, national security, and the administration of justice. Member of Parliament for St. Catherine South and opposition spokesperson on national security Fitz Jackson suggested the committee should address issues of national importance in a fair, non-partisan manner.
In the past, quite frankly, and I've been here a little while, people usually wonder which side who belong to because of how it operates in a homogeneous way. I would like that to be preserved. I must say I've seen a bit of deterioration in recent years, and it caused the committee to be as effective as it ought to be. One of collaboration, one as against one of an adversarial nature.
Chairperson for the committee, Juliet Cuthbert-Flynn, agrees, making it clear that the matters discussed should be done in one accord. She also suggests that meetings should be held regularly. On the scheduling of meetings, Deputy Speaker of the House and Member of Parliament for St. James Central, Heroy Clark, seeks to clarify what would inspire these meetings to be scheduled and conducted.
Are we waiting on matters to come directly from Parliament, or do we take matters as we see them to discuss? And if so, because what you don't want to do, what we want to do is to set a framework of how we will meet or when we will meet. But if we don't have a matter of importance to discuss, then it don't necessarily mean that we have to, and hence the reason I ask, are we reactive or proactive?
Member of Parliament for St. Anne South East and Shadow Minister of Rural and Community Development, Dr. Kenneth Russell, believes proactive meetings might be the better approach.
When you look at what the standing order provides for, as you said, foreign policy, treaties and other international agreements, national security and the administration of justice, I would argue that there's always something that we should be looking at. And so if we're a proactive committee, we should set an agenda that would require us to be holding these things constantly under our review.
Ultimately, Chairwoman Flynn says there can be both.
it can be both, because things are always happening, or we may feel that as a committee there's something that we need to look at that is of national importance, whether it's national security or foreign affairs, that we need to look at as a committee, as a country, to make recommendations. And so I think it can be both.
Crystal Williams reporting for CVM News.
As Jamaica continues recovery efforts following Hurricane Melissa, the government says its approach to assisting vulnerable families must also evolve. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness says changes are being made to the new social housing program to help meet the increased demand for shelter. Kevin Black has more.
The government's new social housing program is being refocused to support Jamaica's post-Hurricane Melissa recovery. Speaking at the handover of a house in Hope Bay, Portland recently, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness said while the program remains committed to delivering 60,000 homes, its immediate priority is helping families rebuild in the hardest hit parishes.
I am here today in Portland, which though affected, certainly not at the level of St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, and parts of St. Ann and Manchester. Those areas were particularly badly damaged. We have tasked the new social housing program to support the deployment of what we call the modular semi-permanent housing solution.
Dr. Holness says the modular homes will be tested in local conditions as the government looks to expand modern hurricane-resilient housing options.
When those 2,000 units are put in place, we will monitor them, we will study them to see how well they stand up to Jamaican conditions, to see potentially how long they will last. They are prefabricated, well-engineered solutions, and we need to find ways to bring that into Jamaica, allow persons who are building to get access to that kind of building system. And instead of going to ply and zinc, we could replace that with more modern, aesthetically pleasing, more ergonomic building systems that give you more functionality and safety and more value.
And the Prime Minister also urged beneficiaries to maintain the homes, live in them, and seek approval before making any structural changes.
There is a social contract that we sign as an outward symbol from the beneficiary that they will, one, take care of the house. They will maintain it in a condition equal to or better than they received it. That they will live in the house and not rent it out. The other commitment is that everything that is done here must be legal. Legal light, legal water. You must consult with us if you're going to make any alterations to the structure.
Kevin Black reporting for CVM News.
Every public dollar must deliver real value for taxpayers while driving economic transformation. Finance and Public Service Minister Favour Williams made the point at the MSME Procurement Integration Project in Montego Bay, St. James, underscoring her ministry's commitment to strengthening small businesses and investing in their long-term success. Crystal Williams has more.
Billions of Jamaican dollars are procured yearly in goods, services and works, according to Minister of Finance and the Public Service Favour Williams. But government spending should accomplish more than meeting operational needs. The minister says it should also stimulate enterprise, create employment opportunities and support economic transformation.
The public procurement set-asides order was specifically designed to create opportunities for qualifying micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises to compete for contracts that match their scale and capacity, allowing them to build experience, strengthen their businesses, and expand over time.
She emphasized that participation begins with visibility, as the government cannot procure from businesses that are not a part of the formal system. She says the set-asides framework recently announced in Parliament will help to make this process easier.
And that is why supplier registration, business formalization, and procurement readiness, that is, understanding the procurement system and preparing yourselves to compete, are essential and we are making it easier for you to enter, to upload your information, and we're going to be monitoring the set-aside to ensure that it is actually happening.
The government also recognizes, however, that procurement alone is not sufficient to build successful businesses.
MSMEs also need access to financing, technical assistance, training, markets, and investment capital. That is why this initiative forms a part of a broader national strategy to strengthen Jamaica's entrepreneurial system. Through the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, businesses continue to receive support for formalization and business development.
Crystal Williams reporting for CVM News.
CVM News at 7 continues in a moment.
Tonight, we begin with a warning. Jamaica is feeling the effects of intense heat, with temperatures climbing across the island, and forecasters warning that the conditions could persist for some time. Health officials are urging Jamaicans to take the risks seriously, cautioning that prolonged exposure to high temperatures can lead to heat exhaustion, dehydration, and in severe cases, heat stroke. But the heat is not only a health concern. The Jamaica Fire Brigade is also reporting an increase in bush fires across several parishes, raising questions about public safety, environmental damage, and the impact of dry conditions. Tonight, we examine the science behind the heat, the risks it presents, and what Jamaicans can do to protect themselves. Then we turn to the FIFA World Cup. Argentina's encounter with Egypt has generated significant discussion among football fans, and with the tournament moving into a critical phase, we look at the state of play, the standout teams, and what to expect in the days ahead. And later, we take you around the world with the three biggest international stories making headlines today. I'm Tyrone Reed, and this is Lead Stories Global Lead. Welcome back. This is Lead Story. I'm Tyrone Reed. The heat is making waves, and since perhaps COVID, we haven't been this concerned about temperatures. Jamaicans across the island have been feeling the effects of the intense heat in recent weeks. The Ministry of Health and Wellness is warning that excessive heat can pose serious health risks, including dehydration, heat exhaustion, and heat stroke. At the same time, the Jamaica Fire Brigade is reporting an increase in the number of bush fires being reported across several parishes, raising concerns about public safety, property damage, and environmental impact. So what is driving the conditions? How long could they last? And what should Jamaicans be doing to protect themselves? Joining me now, meteorologist Javoy Sawyers, and we are hoped to be joined by Superintendent with the Jamaica Fire Brigade, Emilio Ebanks. He's the Public Education Officer at the Brigade. Good afternoon to you. Thanks for joining us. We have Emilio Banks. Mr. Banks, top of the afternoon to you.
Afternoon.
Thanks for joining us right here on Lead Story. Talk to us, Emily Banks, for those who might not be familiar with the concerns being raised by the Jamaica Fire Brigade. What are you noticing across the country with the increase in the temperatures?
Well, I think persons just have to take a look outside their windows. If you're driving along the roadway, you will see the number of fires crawled across. If you look on the hillsides, just about everywhere, bushfires are popping up every minute.
Bushfires are popping up across. Have you been able to do any comparative analysis of the bushfires so far this year in comparison to the corresponding period for last year?
We have some of the data. However, what we've found is that the latter part of June coming into July is when we've started to see a real spike. So we would not have that information in yet. But just based off the numbers we're seeing, we're almost sure we're going to be having an increase over last year.
And what's the word from the JFB to Jamaicans this evening, Emilia Banks?
Simply don't burn. It's as simple as that, don't burn.
And when you say don't burn, you mean don't burn your garbage, don't